everyone and welcome back to the Pottery Corner, my studio down on the south coast of England near Chichester, and today we are doing part 3, the last part of the Sculptural Poppy Head tutorial. So I just thought that I would do a very quick run through of how the 3 poppy heads that I've been working on in the previous 2 videos. So the first one of which is the full tutorial on how to make sculptural poppy heads. The second one is oxiding and applying the glass frit. So this one is the last, and I thought that I would leave them in the kiln so that you could see them actually in situ in the kiln, and then see what I have put them on when I've come to actually put them into the glaze firing. So I'm going to open up the kiln and show you the poppy heads in situ inside the kiln. So here we are. This is the inside of my kiln, and as you can see, the 3 poppy heads are in the bottom of the kiln. I have actually unloaded the remainder of the kiln, so this was a full kiln, and I've put the poppy heads in the bottom of the kiln so you can see. Now, I haven't put anything else in the bottom with these poppy heads because they've had oxide on them, and I didn't want the oxide blowing round the kiln onto other pieces in that section. So I'm going to get the poppy heads out now, and I just wanted to show you what they were standing on, because we were talking about the kiln props and things because of the glass. Now, this is the smallest sized poppy head, and as you can see, some of the glass has travelled down the side of this poppy head. I'm just holding it carefully because I don't want either the poppy or the cookie to come off. But I hope that you can see on that cookie here, there is glass, and you can see that it has flowed right the way down the side of the poppy onto the cookie, and then it's stopped because this cookie has a little rim on it. And all that you have to do if that happens, and as you can see, I've sort of doubled my safety net by putting a slightly bigger broken cookie underneath it. So that's obviously all fused together with the glass. So I just have in the kiln room my trusty hammer, and I'm just going to very gently knock it, and that's it. It literally takes a couple of very tiny taps to get the cookie off of the bottom, and then you're left with the glass, a tiny little bit of the foot of the foot ring of the poppy head, and then on here on the foot, as you can see, there's this rather nasty, jagged, sharp bit of glass. So what I also have on my trusty bench is a metal file, and then all I do, and I would usually do this over a bin, is literally just go over the sharp part of the glass with a file, give it a few goes, and you'll just be able to file off, because you don't want to pick it up in the garden and it have a nasty sharp jagged part of glass on the bottom of there. But you can see that that metal file has just taken off the very sharp parts of the glass on the bottom of this poppy head. So this one, as you know, we put some oxide over, copper oxide, and the glass frit on the top. And as I was saying in the previous video, it's very difficult to tell where the glass is going to go, but it has very nicely flowed on this side. And I like it when it does that, because it gives it that little bit of interest actually when you put it out in the garden. And the other thing about using the glass frit is that when it rains, you get the sort of, you know, the shine from the water when it goes on the glass. So that's really very pretty, and I'm very pleased with that. And as you can see, I've put the oxide around the petals on the edges so that it's quite dark on the top around the glass. So that one's the small one. Lovely jubbly. And then this one is the medium. And again, this is the one with the beads. Again, as you can see, when I lift it out, we have some glass movement on there. This one actually has not pulled. There is no glass on that cookie apart from the glass from the previous firing. I've just reused this cookie. So actually this one is not fused to this base, but it is stuck. So I'm just going to give it the tiniest of taps. And you can hear it when it's going to go. It changes from sort of a ring to a thud when you're tapping it. And actually, having said there wasn't any glass on it, there is a little bit of green glass on there, if you see. So there's just this little bit of green glass here with a tiny bit of the foot. So I was wise to have put it onto a cookie. And again, on the base of this piece, where it's been stood on that cookie, here, there's just a little bit of glass. And I'm just, for safety, going to take that off with the file, just because, as I say, I just don't want that to be sharp. So if I pick that up, if it's in the garden, or somebody picks that up and it's in the garden, you don't want it to be sharp. So this one, again, we used the head that we made in the tutorial, and I've oxided this the same. I've added quite a bit of copper oxide onto the pearl necklace sprig that we used. And as you can see, the copper oxide holds quite nicely on that bead design. And then this one, we have some seepage of the glass, and actually it's not gone very far. And that tells me that there wasn't masses of glass on the top. So actually I've saved myself a problem by stopping that glass at that point. And again, you know, that's a lovely poppy head, lovely green on there. So yes, very pleasing, very happy with that. And then the last one, the big open one, where we did the copper oxiding and then we drizzled the transparent glaze. This hasn't been on a cookie. It didn't need to be on a cookie because there's no glass. And this one is really lovely. I'm really pleased with it. So we've got a little bit of green detail where the transparent glaze has touched the copper oxide, and that's what I wanted. I wanted this sort of mottled green effect on the top, where, as I say, if copper oxide has glaze over it, it turns to green. So, and then where we sort of kind of flicked it and drizzled it down the sides, actually that's really lovely. I really like that. And the copper oxiding's quite dark on the top, and then obviously where there isn't quite so much down at the bottom of the poppy, it has this sort of gradient effect. So that's how that one came out, and I hope you can see the sort of the green drizzles down the side from the clear transparent glaze, where that has actually travelled where we were flicking it on in the previous video. So it might have looked a bit haphazard in the last video, and I bet there were people thinking, cracky, that's going to make a terrible mess. But actually, when it comes out, it's quite effective. So that's how I do it. I just wanted to pass on how kind you are, all my YouTubers. You're so wonderful. This picture was sent to me by Helena in Sweden. I mean, look at that. Her interpretation of making a poppy head. Isn't that beautiful? And she said, you gave me so much inspiration, I couldn't have made it without you. Well, Helena, thank you for sending me that picture, because it's really inspirational to see what everybody else does with an idea when you take the idea and you run with it in your own way. So that's marvellous. Thank you so much. Lorraine, there we are. There's yours. Isn't that beautiful? And again, really lovely. Her own interpretation. I think it's really lovely. She's got an open segment there, same as the large one. And Lorraine said just needs to clean it up a bit before it dries. So I love making them, and your tutorials are excellent. Thank you, Lorraine. That's very kind of you to say. This is Kay Carney's, and she says, got them in the kiln. My friend and I enjoyed making these so much. Thank you again for your generous spirit. There's hers in the kiln. Look at those. all ready for bisque firing. Or actually, I think they are bisque fired. It looks like it because the crank is peach. But how lovely that her and her friend spent some time making those. And I've noticed on this one in the centre that she's used the pearl necklace sprig. So well done, Kay. Those are brilliant. And a few other bits. Oh, Cher. Oh, you darling. Cher said that she loved the melted glass, and she put a picture on Instagram yesterday. Unfortunately, the kiln gods were not kind, and one of her bisque heads has exploded in the kiln. Unfortunately, sometimes, you know, the kiln gods are devils, aren't they? But unfortunately, she had forgotten to put a hole in the bottom. So, lesson to you all, remember, put a hole in it. If it's a closed form, it really needs a hole in it so that the moisture can get out. Otherwise, it will explode in the kiln. But luckily, she did have some others in there, so she does have some. So, Cher, well done you for persevering. Judith said she enjoyed the tutorial. Thank you, Judith. Joan said it was an excellent tutorial and she learnt much. How nice. Katie, she liked the way that the oxide does its own thing, and I agree with you, Katie, that, you know, when you saw me kind of putting this on, and it was kind of a bit of a mess and a bit sort of like, well, I'll just let it run where it wants to run rather than contriving where it's going to go. Actually, I like the freedom of that and how it comes out at the end. So I'm glad that you found that useful. It's a different way to use oxides. You know, sometimes we use them on our work, and they can be particularly unpredictable. So I quite like that way of using them. And Mary said that it was so freeing the way that we're relinquishing the control over the oxides. So absolutely, I mean, have a go yourselves. Do please send me pictures of what you do. It's so nice to get up in the morning and turn the computer on in the studio and have all these lovely messages and pictures from you. So do share your pictures with me. I love it. So that's the end of this poppy head tutorial. I'm really pleased that quite a lot of you have decided to have a go. And I can just imagine all the different poppy heads all in everybody's gardens around the world. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Do subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already. There's new content every week. So join us next time on at the Pottery Corner. In the meantime, have a look at the website, www.thepotterycorner.co.uk. I'm pleased to say that the studio will reopen after the April easing of restrictions. So we are again booking courses, so the diary is open. If you are a local person and wanted to come along and have a go, please give me a call or drop me a line on the website. And my Etsy store is also open. It's not been up for long, so unfortunately there's no feedback on it because obviously I haven't sold anything yet. But if you know, if you'd like to have a look at my Etsy store, please do. Some of the things that are going through on the videos will be on the Etsy shop if you'd like to take a look. So as ever, thank you for watching. Stay safe and well, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.